Yeah. Once again, welcoming you all to this third webinar of SocioDent. We've been doing this for the past 3 consecutive months, and we've been having change makers in dentistry. And yeah, we've been having before that how we can make dentistry more inclusive and how we can make it more accessible to all, accessible dentistry. And so this is our third webinar, and we have a very important speaker, and we also have a very important session, and it's about pursuing alternative careers after dentistry. So we all have different goals and ambitions, but we have one such individual with us today. Before I introduce him to all of you, welcoming you all to this webinar, and we have a very nice agenda for the day. We'll keep it interactive, and then we'll take it forward from there. And I'm sure all of you have seen the flyer, and welcoming you, Giri. So formally welcoming you to this session. Just to introduce Giri Shankar, I've been calling him Giri like that. I usually don't get to call IAS officers like that. But as you can see from the tagline, he's moved from a batchmate to a bureaucrat now. So he was a BDS batchmate of mine. From 2009 to 14, we did our BDS in Ragas Dental College. And after that, Giri took the bold step of venturing into pursuing IAS, which is a dream, I presume, for I think thousands of individuals across the country. And out of the few people who succeeded, and out of that very few dentists, we have Dr. Giri, who has taken up the IAS cadre after securing a very good All India rank, and now he's posted as the assistant collector in Puducherry. And just to introduce, as I told, even before an IAS officer, I know him as a very good friend. I know him as a very good leader. We have done a lot of leadership activities in the in our college, and those things have actually, I think, put the seed to take up such big administrative roles. So welcome you, Giri, to the session. I'll hand over it to you now. Because first, what is our agenda is, first we are going to have a time of sharing by Dr. Giri Shankar, and he'll be talking about the various things, how was his journey, because from to transition from BDS to IAS, what was his journey, what were the interesting things he learned through this journey. And after his talk, we'll also have an interesting time of Q&A. I have some questions, and we will also take questions from the audience. And I think already a few people, thank you, Dr. Pankaj Goyal, for appreciating Giri. Yeah, over to you, Giri.
Stuart, can I share my screen now?
Yes, you can start now, Giri. Yeah, meanwhile, people can keep dropping your introductions in the chat box, and also your questions, because we'll take it, I think, around 11:30. We'll go in for question and answers. Yeah, over to you, Giri.
Okay. So at the outset, I would like to thank Stuart. I would like to thank SocioDent, and also all the participants. And also all the participants. Just Stuart, am I audible?
Yes, Giri, you're audible, and your screen is very well visible.
Okay. So at the outset, I would like to thank Stuart, SocioDent, and all the participants also for coming here for this webinar. For taking your time off the weekend and coming for this webinar. So at the outset, I would like to thank all of you. So my presentation would be first about like general introduction about myself, and I would like to talk about two phases of my training that I'm currently undergoing. One is at the academy, where I've undergone 6 months of training, and subsequently my training in the district that has been for around 1 year. So I'll briefly talk about these two parts and what are my learnings from there. And how you can relate that with dentistry or with general life also, like what are the learnings and how you can relate with the learnings. So first, so I'll start by posting this picture of the academy. If if any of you have prepared for civil services, you will have definitely know that this academy gate is like a dream destination for people. You can even just put this academy's name online and see. There are like hundreds of people who are like, who consider this place to be a dream destination. So what I would like to tell you is my journey, how I entered into this academy. So I completed my college in the year 2014. So I'm a batchmate of Stuart. We completed in college in November 2014, and since then I started my civil services preparation. So from then I've been giving multiple attempts in 2015, 2017, 18, and subsequently in the year 2019 it was my fourth attempt. So it was my fourth attempt that I got into civil service, and I got into my current service of Indian Administrative Service. So then subsequent to this, we all joined the academy in the month of October 2020 for what we call as a foundation course. So first, I would like to start about telling about the foundation course. So this foundation course is designed in such a way that members of all the services, that is the Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, Indian Revenue Service, Foreign Service, all of them come together, attend this common foundation course, and they all build a working relationship with each other. So as I put in this picture is about my friends who belong to different cadres, who belong to different services like the Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, Foreign Service, Forest Service, and all that. The main idea behind this foundation course, which spans for around 100 days, is that you establish a working relationship with members outside your own service. So this is, I think, this is almost this is also what is relatable for dentistry also. Like you need to establish a working relationship with people outside your specialization. That is, if you specialized in, say, endodontics, don't just limit yourself to that field. No, build a working network with people outside your specialization, and don't just limit to dentist also, because what we see now is that the scope of every field is getting widened. Say, for example, from dentistry, you need to know people outside, somebody in the manufacturing sector, because you can develop some dental tools or dental instruments and all. So you need to have a working relationship with people outside your field. That was the primary focus of this part of the training module. And second, I would say is that second, what we learned from the academy is the importance of physical fitness. So the picture that I have put here is the picture of the polo ground in the academy. So this ground is where we all go to daily in the mornings for our morning PT. So in the freezing colds of Missouri, where temperatures are even sub-zero during the winter months, we all go to this place early in the morning at 6 o'clock. It's a 2-kilometer downhill walk. We go there, do PT for 1 hour, and then climb back 2 kilometers. So what the academy emphasized to us from this is that first comes physical fitness. As doctors, all of us are aware that physical health is the most important part of health. Okay, so only when you're physically fit, then you go on to mental fitness. No, when you're not very confident about yourself, you can't be mentally fit also. So give importance for your physical health. However busy you may be, daily take some time, spend on your physical health also. Do these activities daily. It also brings in discipline in your schedule, because see, all of us are very occupied with our daily lives. We have our own work, we have our own personal work, so we get occupied in all these, and we tend to forget about ourselves. So take time, focus on your physical health also. That's very important. So that is our second learning from the training in the academy. And thirdly, this is the most interesting part of the training in the academy. So the picture that I have put here is from a Himalayan trek. So as a part of this foundation course, all of us are supposed to go on a trek to some place in Himalayas, stay in those ranges for 8 days continuous. And it's like the main thing about this Himalayan trek is that you don't have any basic amenities in the places where you're staying. Like you don't have a building, you have to stay in the tents. Temperatures are sub-zero temperature. The place where I have put is a place where nighttime temperature drops to minus 10 degrees Celsius. And you have to sleep in tents in this kind of a climate. You can see people in the photo, like most of them will be wearing a gloves also. Because once you remove your gloves for, let's say, 2 hours or 3 hours, you expose yourself for frostbite in these areas. And as there is fire around, maybe some people have removed their gloves. So it's that kind of a place. And you can't have a proper food. Whatever food you get, you have to have that food. Drinking water is very limited. And other main thing, main concern for most of our batchmates was where to go for toilet, because it was all in the open. It's like we travel in the Himalayas. It's all deep in the Himalayan ranges, and there were no toilets or any facilities available. What instruction was told to us in the academy was that this toilet aspect, this was the most questioned part also. So what was told to us in the academy was that you attend your nature's call with the nature, and whatever happens there is a secret between you and the nature. Don't share it with others. So that was this was the only instruction that was given to us when we asked for such a clarification. But we had a lot of learnings from this Himalayan trek. So what I saw as learnings from this Himalayan trek is that first, the importance of teamwork. In such a challenging environment, you cannot survive as an individual, however fit or however strong you might be physically and mentally. There is always a need for teamwork. So what we used to do is that we were a group of 30. We subdivided ourselves into 10, and as three groups we used to progress. One group in the beginning, the second group used to be people who find it comparatively difficult to maneuver this terrain. And lastly, we used to again have a group who are comfortable with the terrain. So we used to divide ourselves in such subgroups and work as a team. And second thing is that the importance of coming out of your comfort zone. See, all of us have been in our comfort zone. Personally, if you ask for me, I have been at my home for till I joined service. That is till the age of 29. I was at home. I was in the comfort of my home. This was the first time I was moving out of my home. So I had like prefixed, expectations on how I will be, like where I should be and all. But in this place, all of us came out of our comfort zones. Whatever we thought as, basic amenities were not available, we had to adjust to, whatever was available. So that in the that signifies like the importance that why you have to come out of your comfort zones. So now I think even today most of my batchmates who are posted in these remote districts where these basic amenities are available, they tend to compare their current life with what was during this Himalayan trek, and they feel like their lifestyle now is far better than what it was during Himalayan trek. So they are in a way conditioned as to what we were to face in the future. And then next I would like to by this photo what I would like to say is that in academy we had the tradition of celebrating all festivals, however small the festival may be, whatever religion, whatever local festival. It may be a festival of Uttarakhand, it may be a festival of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, whatever place it is. We used to celebrate all the festivals. The importance of such a tradition in the academy was that when you celebrate your festival, you tend to spend time mostly with your family. When you're outside, you may celebrate with somebody else, but when mostly you celebrate your festivals with your family. So the rationale behind such festivals was that you need to always allocate time for your family. However busy you may be in your schedule, at least allocate some time. On festivals, at least say 2 hours, 3 hours, spend time with your family. That was emphasized to us very strongly. So this picture which I'm posting is from a celebration of the Sankranti festival, or Pongal, as we call it in South India. So we had our regular classes also. Our regular classes were from 10 o'clock. This celebration we had in the morning from 7 to 10. So it's like in your daily schedule, try to accommodate, whatever time you can make for your personal compulsions also. And lastly, what I would like to say by this photo is that we had the most craziest of fun times in the academy hostel. So what I would like to say by this slide is that whatever may be, whatever you want to do, however how much of fun you want to have fun. Don't compromise on that. But it is important to focus on your goals too, but don't compromise it on your personal compromise it the personal experiences also. Have fun. Do whatever you want to do. So this photo, what we did was that one day post some parties or something in the night. Somebody suggested that it's night 12 o'clock, why don't we try to play this Oja board? So all of us sat in a room, we lighted a candle, wrote all these things in a paper, saw a YouTube video like how to make preparations. We made preparations and we were like, at least for half an hour we were trying, we were saying some things, we were doing something, we were expecting something to happen, but nothing happened. But these are also things we used to do in the academy. So this was my part this was my part of training with the academy. Then subsequent to this, I was posted in Puducherry. It's a union territory. I belong to the union territories cadre. In IAS, you have a system where you are allotted to a particular cadre. It may be a state cadre or it may be a cadre like a union territory cadre, and you belong to this cadre till your retirement. So in my case, I've been allotted to this union territories cadre. So my postings will always be among various union territories. My first posting has been in Pondicherry. So I joined Pondicherry in the month of April 2021. So once you join the district, the first thing that you do is that you go and call on all the higher dignitaries in your district. That's a sign of respect that you show to the constitutional post, that you show to the elected members. So the photo here is with our Honorable Lieutenant Governor. So she is the highest constitutional authority in the Union Territory of Puducherry. So first we made a call on to ma'am. Then subsequently to other dignitaries also, including the Chief Minister, the Chief Secretary, and also the thing is that we have to respect. So whatever you might have been like, you might have cleared whatever exam, but still you have to respect people's mandate. Like people have elected the elected representatives, and you respect them. So, and the second thing, so this picture, what I want to say from this picture, this is the place where I currently stay. So why I put the photo of this picture is that, so here, not only me, four other officers are also staying. All of them are seniors to me. So here in our guest house, we have this culture of where, we all get together in the evenings. Like we all meet together, mostly on alternate days or something, and we generally have a chat. And all of them being seniors to me have been immensely helpful for me, because I am a new person to this place. So, I have a lot of doubts. I have a lot of inhibitions on how to go about doing things. Like, various doubts we get. My seniors have always been available. You can approach them anytime. You can ask whatever doubt you want. That balcony in the picture is where we used to sit in the midnight, and we used to have some chats, or we used to order something from outside, have some food there. Then if maybe you can see a water tank on the top, we used to climb till there and sit there, and we used to have a chat there. That the place used to have a nice view of the local area. So it's that kind of a place. Like what I'm trying to say here is that we as individuals have seniors as well as juniors. So we need to groom our juniors. At the same time, we also need to take guidance from our seniors. We don't have to hesitate to take some assistance from our seniors. We don't need to have any what to say, any hesitations or any ego that like, how do I go and ask that person for help? Feel free, ask help to your seniors or to your juniors or to anyone. Everybody is more than willing to help you. Only thing is they can't voluntarily come and offer you some help. Only thing that you need to do is you need to go and ask for help. People are more than willing to help you. And next thing is that, so this is the photo of where I gave the first press briefing along with my district collector. So the person in the photo next to me is madam. She's our district collector. I'm the one next to the I'm sitting next to the collector, the person with the white mask, not the black mask. So so actually this was our first press briefing. So I'll tell you the background behind this, what happened that day. So I went to meet the collector. So madam had asked, like, so we have a press briefing today. This was COVID time, Delta wave time. So madam had asked, like, have you given a press briefing before? So I told ma'am, no ma'am, I have not given a press briefing before. Then she told me, it's okay. So today what we will do is that you get exposed to giving a press briefing. We'll go for a press briefing. I'll do the English part of the briefing and you do the Tamil part of the briefing. So I told ma'am that I have not done a presentation before. So that time, she as a senior, she gave me full backing. She told me, see, it's okay, you're not done. I totally understand. You go try to brief the press. It's just an experience. You try to do something that you're not done. It's okay if you're not able to answer. It's okay if you're fumbling or whatever. I'll handle it. Nobody is going to remember it. We all tend to think like, what if I do something wrong? What will others think about me? But the ultimate point is, it's okay, try something, do something wrong, and nobody will remember about you. They don't have time to remember about you, think that this person did such a thing 3 days back. Nobody has time for that. The point is, you experiment. It's okay even if you fail. And what I want to say from this picture is that, so she as a senior, she gave me full backing, and the same thing I will also have to do to my juniors. It's not only the district collector, including our chief secretary. Once I went to our chief secretary with a law and order issue. So chief secretary is also the home secretary in Pondicherry. So I had met sir and I asked for sir's opinion on a particular issue. So what usually happens is that somebody will give you an opinion and they will expect you to do that. But my chief secretary, he gave me like 4 or 5 options. So once I told him the problem, he gave me like option A, B, C, D. And finally, what he told me is that, see, it's up to you to decide which course of path you want to take forward. But just you be confident that whatever happens, you choose to do something and something goes wrong, just be confident that we seniors are there to back you. Only thing is, you should have a good intention. Your intention should not be bad and you should not do something wrong. Then nobody will come to back you. But when you have a genuine intention, you try out something and it fails also, people are not going to be upset with you. People are there to back you. So from this, what I want to say is that, you back your juniors, and you take the backup of your seniors also. And so from this picture, what I want to say is that, so this was my interaction with the political executive in the district. So the person with whom the person next to me in white shirt is the deputy speaker of Pondicherry. So it was his constituency. So he had taken me for a visit to his constituency during COVID times. So he just wanted, just to go to these villages, interact with people, try to understand what sort of problems they are facing because of lockdown. So what I learned from my interactions with politicians is that whatever we have heard about politicians or whatever it is shown to us about politicians is not the complete picture that is about politicians. Sometimes it's even false. So what I learned here about the politicians is that first thing, they have very good ground connect. You as a other, say for example, why it is relevant to dentist also is that in public health you may want to go and do some intervention in a village, but as a dentist you will go there, you will explain something to people in a very rational way. People will not be, you can convince 10 people or you can convince 20 people, but you cannot convince the mass. These politicians have very good ground level connect. With this particular photo, we had gone to people to talk about vaccination. So there was an initial vaccine hesitancy. So we were rationally explaining to people, but the deputy speaker came there. He just told people, hey, it's a good thing. I personally am recommending it. All of you go take vaccine. The next day, we had around 100, 150 people from the village coming for vaccination. Previously, we used to run camps, sitting there for whole day, we had 10 people, 20 people. But then he just gave his word, and people trusted him. So they have the confidence of the people. They have this ground connect. And second thing is that what I learned from politicians is that, see, whatever field you may be in, it's very important for you to be a ground person, a ground level person. You can, as an IAS officer, you can sit in the office, you can work on your files endlessly, you can keep writing, you can keep forwarding the files, you can look into policy and all that. But when you are just in your office, you don't know what is the ground reality. You may pass an order here sitting in the office that, do this, do that, but what is the ground difficulty, what's the practical limitations of a person who's implementing the order, you will only know when you go on ground. So that thing, we learn from we need to learn from our political executives. They are, all years for the public. They have like the, very specific inputs from the general public. They are not office people, they are ground people. So all of us also need to be ground people, in order to reach out to the masses. And lastly, uh, what I think is that respect the experience of the people. See, in our service also, we may have completed in dentistry also, you may have completed BDS or MDS, and there may be other doctor who is a doctor with 30 years experience in BDS alone. So what I want to emphasize that, you try to respect the experience of the other person. So here what happened is, generally we have a perception that politicians are not very well aware of the they are not very well educated, they are not very well aware of what is happening and all. But what we learned from this person is that he has been in public service for 30 years. So he has been holding various positions. He's come over a very long journey, and he was able to give us very specific inputs in solving various issues. Like, those what to say, if I have to find out the same thing, I will have to spend at least a day or two to find out that route to get something implemented. But the politician, as he's already had some experience, he was able to guide me better. The same thing is with the seniors in dentistry also. You need to respect the experience of the person. However highly qualified you might be, always respect the other person's experience. That's something that we cannot gain just by completing exams or clearing exams. And lastly, so what I want to say is that by this photo also, public interaction is very important. That as public servants, all of us, including doctors, including civil servants, all of us, for us, this public interaction is very, very important. So why I say public interaction is very important is that, so I will just give a background of this picture. So this was also sometime during the Delta wave when vaccination camps were starting. There was a lot of vaccine hesitancy. So in Puducherry, we tried out various ways to reach out to people. But in this particular thing, what we thought was, first we will go to we'll go to one village. We'll call the village Gram Sabha, we call it as. Okay? We call all the people in the village. We first go to them and explain to them, ask them questions like, why are you hesitating to take up a vaccine? What are the cons, and what is their responsibility, and what responsibility you will take as district administration. So once we did that, this village, name is Puducherry village. So this village became the first fully vaccinated village in Pondicherry. You can even search articles on this village in internet. You have some articles also about this village. So once we did this, we got a model of how to go reach out to people. So then what we had to do was only to
I think there is a network issue, right? Others, are you able to hear? Giri, you might want to check your network.
But I think now it is resolved.
Yeah. Now I'm able to hear. Yeah.
So I will give a background of this picture. So this particular place where we are standing is a place where the irregular community have their houses. So this irregular community is one of the most what economically and socially weaker sections. They belong to the scheduled tribe category. So they are very marginalized sections of the society. They do not have their own housing. They were living in a government land, and because of this, they were not provided any basic amenities, as they are not the owners of the land. They were not provided with basic drinking water, street lights, electricity, road connectivity. Nothing was available to them. So their representatives had come to us and they had given a request that please make such facilities available for us. So then what we did was we went to this place. We thought we'll go there, directly interact with them and ask what is the exact thing they are expecting from us. So once we went to them, they came out. So initially there was some hesitancy how to come and express their reservations and all. So but once you go there and talk to them, they become very free. They feel very comfortable that you come to their place, because inviting them to your place is something different. They feel intimidated. They are sitting in a new setting. But once you go to their place, they feel very comfortable. You talk to them and they came up with all their demands, and we were able to process it also. Now the file is currently being processed. So what we have processed is that whatever land they are occupying, that part of land may be allotted to them itself, and some basic facilities like drinking water, electricity, and all that also might be extended to them once the land is regularized. So what I mean to say from this is that you go to people, you talk to them, you will get to know about their problems. And most of the times you won't be in a position to solve their problems immediately. But still, once you go there and you listen to them, they are more than happy. Like they feel half their problem is solved just because you came there and you listened to their problem. So give them that satisfaction and then follow it up with the remaining work also. Don't stop just with the satisfaction alone. Just follow it up and get the work done also. So these are my this was my presentation. So this is what I wanted to share with you. And if you have any doubts regarding civil service or generally about anything, you can ask.
Yes, thanks a lot, Dr. Giri, for sharing this journey, because it's very inspiring. I know from starting from the gate, which thousands of aspirants try to enter, to coming to be on the ground and actually resolve issues, not just make policies, but actually resolve issues and take practical steps. And that is what you studied for and you aspired for, and it's actually happening. Great to see that. We have a few questions actually already in the chat box. So we have some, I think, some of aspirants here. So I'm reading some of their questions, and maybe not all of them may relate to it, but I think it will really help for some of them who have asked this question. So first, you told 6 years, you had a 6 year time, and that's also one of the questions, like how many attempts did it take? Dr. Bijwin has asked that question, and one other person has asked, did you work in any clinic while you were preparing for the civil service exam? And so this all relates to that part of your preparation. So which subject did you choose in your IAS prelims and mains, and how did you take any professional coaching? So most of these questions relate to that journey, how it started. Maybe can you take us step by step, like you finished BDS, I know we all finished it together, and we did some good signing off from our college. But how did it go on from that? So someone who's listening today, they want to become in some years they want to become an IAS. So what are the practical steps that they have to take, and what did you take?
Yeah. So if I have to tell my journey, so our college, as you know, our college got over by the month of November 2014. But prior to that only, I had decided that I should go into civil services. So I started attending classes from the month of around June 2014, I think, June or July. And I was planning to give the examination in 2015. So my advice is that if you are planning to give this examination, please make sure that at least there is 1 year preparation. No, any preparation less than that, in my opinion, will be inadequate. Therefore, you just make sure that there is 1 year time frame. So then I started attending classes. So as we had college during the weekdays, I used to attend weekend classes. So Saturday and Sunday we used to have classes. Then I gave my first attempt 2015. Then second attempt was 2017, third in 18, and fourth in 19. So to answer that question, uh, the current service that I'm into, I got it in the fourth attempt. And so, as all of you know, I think you know the exam structure. The exam is structured in a way that you have three stages. First stage is the preliminary examination, where you have two papers. These are all objective type of papers. In second stage, you have 9 examinations. All these 9 are descriptive type papers. You have to write an answer. And lastly, you have the interview stage. Interview stage, you have to go to the UPSC office. Or they call it as UPSC Bhavan. You have to go there, attend the interview there. Finally, you will be ranked based on your mains examination mark and your interview mark. Give a scale of what is the number of people who take up this examination. It is usually like what happens, in just any registration, like for our session also. So when the exam is called for, 10 lakh people register for the examination, but ultimately only 5 lakh people come for the exam. So the preliminary examination, around 5 lakh people take the exam, out of which around 15,000 people are selected and they are allowed to write the next stage. That is the mains examination, the second stage. So preliminary exam, around 5 lakh people will take the exam. 15,000 are selected, allowed to write the mains examination. And from this 15,000, 3,000 people are again selected and allowed to take up the interview. And from the 3,000, around 1,000 are selected. So in 1,000, out of this 1,000, you have 23 different services. It's the same examination. So you have Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, Revenue Service, the Foreign Service. So all these services you are allotted to. If you have to be very specific about IAS alone, IAS total number of vacancies every year is 180. So out of this 1,000, 180 people get into Indian Administrative Service. So that was my journey. So that is something about the examination also.
Yeah, what we can do is, Giri, so there are many questions. So I think it will be inspiring even if the participants get to directly ask you the question. I can read it from the chat box, but it will be inspiring for them to directly talk to you. Dr. Pankaj Goyal, you want to go first? You had a couple of questions in the chat box. You can unmute and you can ask your question briefly. Tell what you are, a BDS or MDS, and you can ask. You want to go ahead, Pankaj, Dr. Pankaj? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stewart. And I would like to congratulate first Dr. Giri for making it through a very coveted examination.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a public health dentist, and I was especially interested in this because I happened to, in my time, clear the prelim examinations and get into the mains. However, one of the difficulties we used to face, which I think still remains, is that dental sciences is not there as a subject in IAS examination. So now that you are in IAS, my humble request is you should take this matter forward on behalf of our fraternity whenever there's an opportunity, and try to get dental sciences on board as one of the subjects. So that is one. Secondly, I wanted to ask, for the benefit of everybody, including my students, I wanted to ask that what are the subjects you would prescribe, or you have yourself opted for, given the dental background, which can help the dental students or dentists to, find it easier or relate to it in the exams, please.
Yeah, and your second question also can be asked together, Dr.
Okay. Yeah, the second exam was the second question was regarding the importance of coaching, because we have so many, Rouse coaching, brilliant coaching, and most of the dentists are obviously, like you said, working right after the graduation or post graduation. Would it be okay if they leave it for a year totally and go for coaching, or would it be okay if they do it through online or correspondence or maybe weekend coachings? Which one would be better?
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Dr. Giri. Can you take both the questions here?
Yeah, sure. So definitely, even I had that feeling why that dental sciences are not available as an optional subject. But like all this has been decided at very long point, and they are not like they are not very open for changing all these now. So that is the issue. But definitely, like if at all some input is asked from us, I would be more than happy to give that suggestion that dental science may be included as an optional subject. So then going to the first question, what subject is more suitable or like preferable for a dentist, just for the sake that we are more aware of the subject. So if you ask me that way, my optional during my current attempt was anthropology. So why I would suggest anthropology optional for people from medical background is that this anthropology is nothing but study about it's a study of humans, various aspects of humans. That is, it includes physical features, it includes their cultural lifestyle, it includes their social behavior and all. So but a large part of the subject is what to say, biology based, because we study about the physical aspects of a human also, like what has been our evolution. Genetics, there is a huge part of genetics. Public health is a major part, like what are the impacts of environment on health. What are the modern advances in medicine, genetics and all that. That's a large part. Like if I have to give some number, around 30% of the syllabus, I would say 30 to 40% of the syllabus will be from biology background. So here, being from medical background, from biology background, we have the advantage of having been already exposed to such topics, such contents. So definitely we have an advantage if we are going for this anthropology optional. Similarly, some people also prefer for medical sciences, but medical science, the issue is that it's about uh, it has more similarities with the MBBS syllabus. It doesn't have that much of similarity with the BDS syllabus. So my suggestion for dentist would be that you can explore anthropology, and if you find it to be interesting, you can pursue with anthropology as an optional. But other than that, you have various other optionals also, various good optionals which are scoring. Like political science is a very good scoring optional subject. You have sociology, which is also very good scoring. And there are some other subjects also, like specific subjects like mathematics. That is just to go out of this and go into engineering side. Like core engineering subjects are also very good scoring. Mathematics is a very good scoring optional subject. So you can explore all these optional subjects, but my advice would be that explore anthropology as a first preference for your optional if you're from a dental background. And your second question is that whether to have professional coaching. I attended coaching classes. I attended from an institute. I went for weekend classes. There are some of my friends who have not attended classes and still managed to clear the examination also. But in my understanding, what I have seen is that the ratio of people who attended some coaching and people who not attended any coaching, it's like far in favor of people who attended some coaching. Say for example, if out of 100, 90 people would have attended some coaching, and 10 people would have prepared by their own, and they would have cleared the examination. So here, why I would emphasize on having some coaching is that, see, ultimately only we have to study for this examination. Whatever coaching institute we join, it will not make much of a difference, like in terms of the content that we have to study. It is ultimately us, we have to who has to sit and study. But what these coaching institutes have to offer to us is that, first thing, you get a structure, like how to start. Because we, as when we were starting the preparation, when you see the entire syllabus, no, you first you get that mental block that there is so much of content to be read, like from where to start, how do I start, like what should be my approach for all these. When you go to a coaching institute, you have somebody to guide you, like they tell you start from this subject, from this topic. Then these coaching institutes usually have a structured way of teaching, and other than that, they also have some structured test series also, where you get to regularly take some tests. If personally, if you were to ask me, if I were to sit at home and prepare, I will not be taking a regular test. Say this week Sunday, I may have some plan. I may think, okay, next week I'll take the test together. I'll try to get club all these tests and I'll try to take them together. But if you go to some institute, you have to go and take this. There is some amount of external pressure on you to follow some schedule in preparation. So for that purpose, I would recommend joining some coaching institute. But I would not recommend any specific institute, like you join institute X, institute Y, because there are lots of good institutes. As you had pointed out, in Delhi you have a lot of good institutes. In Hyderabad you have, in Chennai, Bangalore. So these are like the main hubs. If you see Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai and Hyderabad. So these are like main hubs of preparation. You have very good institutes in all these places. So you can join any of those institutes, and subsequently you have to follow it up with your preparation, their guidance and your preparation. And in institutes, what happens is that you get to interact with people who already cleared also. That becomes like a platform where you can get contact of the person who's already cleared. You can ask your doubts to them. It will be like a guidance sort of place. But definitely our part of effort also has to be put in.
Thank you, Dr. Giri, for the elaborate reply. We have Dr. Vigneshwari Jayabalan next. You want to go ahead? Some of them are in their clinics and workplaces. They may not be able to unmute. So if that is the case, you can post in the chat box. Vigneshwari, you want to go ahead with your question? If you want, you can unmute and ask. The question is, what is the strategy for prelims and mains? Should we read everything, or is there any particular? I think that's what she intended to ask. Quickly, you can give a.
Yeah. You can also answer it directly also. So actually, there is no such thing as reading. You try to cover maximum syllabus, and then you go for the examination. That is the strategy. But in my opinion, you will never be able to complete the entire syllabus. So what I have seen in this examination, so when you ask me this question about prelims and as well as mains examination, the main thing that I see in this examination is that they do definitely test your knowledge also. But what I see is that more than knowledge, they also test your character. Say in prelims examination, never can you complete the entire syllabus. So never, I can give it in the written bond, I can give you, nobody can ever complete the syllabus or prelims or mains or for any part of the exam. But still, you should just go there. You should try to give your best. With whatever you prepared, try to go there, give your best. So prelims is more about that. And prelims is, and especially mains examination is where you will have 9 examinations. So now all these 9 exams will be like morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon, continuously. There won't be like much of break also in between. Like you won't have alternate days, holidays or something. It will be like more. And you will be mentally drained in these 5 days of examination. You will be physically drained because you will be like sitting there holding your pen and you'll be writing answer. If you take a 5 minutes break in the exam, you won't be able to complete one question. You can ask any of the people who given the mains examination, because you have 20 questions. Each question is like you have to answer for 250 words. 215 to 20 is like 5,000 words you have to write in 3 hours. And none of the questions are going to be like straight question like describe in detail or explain in brief or nothing. It's all going to be opinion based. So you need to think and you need to write in those 3 hours 20 questions. You get a maximum of 7 minutes for each question. You don't have the liberty of time there. So it's more like they do test your knowledge also, but they do test you like when you're put into pressure, how do you perform, especially in the interview stage. In interview stage, my personal I've attended 3 interviews till now. So in all 3, what I have understood is that they don't test for your knowledge there. You can even say I don't know for 10 questions or even for 15 questions. But what they ultimately test in all these interviews is that they test your character there too. Like it's not what answer you give, it's like how you answer. Say you may not know the answer, but at that time when you said I don't know for 10 questions, you should not panic. And you should not fumble on the questions that you know the answers for. So it is that what they test there. It's more like your character testing. If I can quote some experiences also from interview. Some of my friends' experiences I'll quote you. One of my friends, he went to the interview board. As soon as he entered the room, he went and sat there. The interview chairman asked him. He didn't ask any question like introduce yourself, nothing. First question to him was, what are the 20 things that you observed in the room? Tell in detail about like 20 things you observed in the room. So he started, okay, sir, this thing was nice, that thing was. So you can say 5 things, but how can you say 20 things? So when he told few things and he stopped, the board chairman asked him like, is that all you could find in the room? So he was like, yes, sir. Then his board chairman's reply was, I'm totally disappointed with you. There are so many nice things in my room, because it's the room of the UPSC member. It's my room. There are so many nice things are there. You are saying only this much is there, nothing more is there. I am totally disappointed with you. So all this is, it is not really that he is disappointed with the person. It's just to unsettle the person. And when you unsettle the person in the beginning itself, you just then subsequently test how he proceeds in the interview. Like then you ask him an easy question also. In the first question you do this, and then you ask him very easy question like even from dentistry, like what is dental caries, that person won't be able to answer that question, because you are not in that state of mind to answer that something that you always know also. So then other experience of my friend was that most of us don't have the habit of wearing a suit. We've never worn a suit in our, like, for any occasion or something, but for interview all of us have to wear the suit. So one person came with a suit. The board chairman told my friend that he asked him, uh, are you very new to wearing suits? So this person told, yes sir, I'm not very familiar. So the interview chairman told, nothing, I can see that you're uncomfortable with the coat. You remove your coat, put the coat in the coat stand, sit and attend the interview. While going back, you can pick the coat back. So my friend, he was really okay. Then he felt like, I didn't carry myself properly. Chairman is asking me to remove my coat, put it in the coat stand, come attend an interview, and then take it back while going. So these are all like, they don't test how much you know. It's just that how you perform there. It's more of testing your character. So
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Giri. One thing I could do was, since I've not been in any IAS interviews like you've been in 3. That's wonderful to reach there. And I have not been there, but I've been in dental colleges, I've been in dental practices, and I know that even in dentistry, at the end of the day, only this matters. This, no one teaches us these things in our colleges. They say your knowledge matters, your skill matters, and all these things matters. Definitely it matters, but at the end of the day, it is your character and it is your integrity and it is your confidence that is actually tested. We get unsettled very easily, and good to know how you are trained for that. Dr. Suchitra, if I'm pronouncing currently, she's giving a second attempt. Are you around? You want to unmute and ask the question? Yeah, go ahead, Suchitra.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So this is Dr. Charita here. Sir, I've given my attempt in 2019, and then unfortunately I couldn't get through it. And then I took a break for again an year, and I'm giving the second attempt this time. So I could drastically see like a lot of motivation. Like I didn't have a lot of motivation which I had during my first attempt, because that I couldn't get through into the first attempt. I was little not stable, like when I'm like right now. So how do I deal about it? So like, because I'm not like focused, and the focusing is not like quite easy for me, like how I did for the first attempt. So how do I deal about it, sir?
Yeah, so first to start the answer, I would first say, like, the examination structure itself, it's designed in a way that only 1,000 people will get through. Out of 5 lakh people who are writing the exam, only 1,000 people are going to get through. And from what I have seen, no, it's not like only the intelligent people get through. That also I would definitely to make you sure, because see, there are so many people who have very good graduation line. Say they will be from IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, AIMS graduate, still they would have not made the cut into the final list. There will be somebody from a very humble college, from a very humble background, that person will make a cut. So first thing that I would like to tell you is that never to take this examination personal. I'm definitely, I acknowledge the fact that it's very, we have put in a lot of hard work, we have put in a lot of effort. It's very disheartening when we don't clear the exam. But it's this examination is not some it is not about judging. You never take it personal. In my experience, I've given 4 attempts from 2014 to 2020. I've given 4 attempts. It was sometimes very difficult. I was not in any job also. I was not working in any clinic or anywhere. So it used to be, sometimes you feel very insecure that what am I doing for so many years, just sitting at home preparing for one examination. No, I didn't give any other examination also. So it was like sitting and giving, you will get random advice from random people. Some people will come and tell you, why don't you try, why are you writing UPSC? Why don't you write TNPSC? Why don't you do some
Exactly.
banking job? Like some bank is a good place to work. Then you get into some job and then you prepare. But people will give you random advice also. You just what to say is that only you know about how much of effort that you put in. It's your personal journey, what you are going through. But don't take any of the outside comments at all seriously. Only thing is that you are not the first person to go through this also, and you will not be the last person also. In my batch, there are people who given 9 attempts also. Like I have a batchmate who gave her first attempt in 2012, and she cleared in 2019. I think that's 8 attempts, or so. It was an 8th attempt or 9th attempt. So there are people like that. It is totally normal. Once you go into academy, you will come to know that people who clear in first attempt are only like say 10% of the crowd, or maybe 20% of the crowd. The majority crowd there are all in their late 20s. The average age in IAS is only 28. Average age in IAS is 28. The people who enter in 22, 23 are like few. And once we get into the academy also, like on a lighter note, I'm sharing with you.
Yes, sir.
People who are in late 20s, we tend to be in one group. And people who are in early 20s, they tend to be so it's because you can't match, like the what to say, your
Exactly.
exposure, your ideas are different. People who are in 20s will be more of energy. We will be like, after 5 attempts, 6 attempts, we are like very tired. We just want to, get away with it. So it's like you have that kind of a thing also. So the thing is, you keep preparing, you keep putting your effort. Definitely one day it will be rewarded. It may
Definitely.
not be immediately, it may not be an immediate reward, but definitely you will be rewarded. At least if not for that also, the whole preparation, it changes your character. That I would definitely vouch for. Like everybody, I have gone through some transformation, at least because of this preparation. From what I was during college and what I am now, definitely I've gone through some transformation. It gives you this preparation itself gives you a different perspective. Like how to look into things. It teaches you a lot. So definitely you will clear the examination. You keep putting hard work. You will definitely get the result.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, next question is from Dr. Bijwin. It's a straightforward question. How many attempts, Dr. Bijwin, if you want to unmute, you can. Otherwise, we can pass on. He said it's a four attempts. 4 attempts is what Giri had to go through. But the thing is, I think you cleared in the first attempt itself, Giri. Second attempt. You cleared. We went to the interview to the first attempt itself.
Yeah. So I had cleared in 2015 also. That was my first attempt. And then again I gave the examination in 2017. That was my second attempt. I cleared my 2017 attempt also. Then subsequently I took a break in 2018, and 2019 was the current attempt where I got into Indian Administrative Service. Previous 2 attempts my rank was not sufficient to get into Indian Administrative Service, and then this 2019 rank was sufficient for me to get into the IAS. So this current service which I'm into was in my 4th attempt. And to just to give a for Sucharita, just to tell her, after clearing first 2 attempts in 2015 and 2017, I cleared. I got a rank also. 2018, I gave my prelims and I failed in the prelims. So, so like we have so many people in my batch only who were into IPS, and they subsequently they are into IPS. They want to improve they want to get into the other service. They gave the examination. They failed in prelims also. There are people like this also.
Okay, sir.
Thank you for not only sharing your success story, but also your failure and how you were, and immediately the next year you were able to get in. Dr. Trisha also has a straightforward question, but I think she was the first participant to join today, so I'll give her the privilege of unmuting. You want to ask something, Dr. Trisha? The question is, were you working in clinic while you were preparing? Yeah, I think it is already answered. So I think if she's not unmuting, we'll go to Bhuvana's question. She has sent me to an individual chat. She's in a OP, so she's not able to unmute. So it says that how much time did you spend in a day for preparation, and what should we focus on more? So that is the question. What is the time that you spent every day? I know I have visited you while you are preparing. I have seen you take notes from all the newspapers which are around. You take big classmate notebooks, and all of that is notes from your newspapers. So can you talk more about how many hours you prepared and what it looks like, and what should we focus on during our preparation?
Yeah. So first to say this, how many hours? No, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to prepare for so many hours, and it definitely varies. So for example, I would just share with you my experience. It depends on when the examination is. Say for example, the examination is in the month of June. Then 3 months prior to that, you have to study 8 hours, or 8 to 10 hours per day. You have to study. For sure, you have to study. Put in that effort. 8 to 10 hours. 3 months before the examination. But if you ask me how many hours we can study during the month of January, February, that will be definitely less than 10 hours only. You can do 8 hours maybe. And prior to that, you may be consistently doing 6 hours. At least like when you have like 1 year for the examination, you make sure that you do 6 hours of preparation daily. For 6 months you do. Subsequent 6 months, you increase it to 8 hours to 10 hours. That will be more than sufficient. But it is all relative. There are some of my friends who cleared. They have been working also. They have been working in some some place for the whole day. Their total preparation will be only 3-4 hours per day. But still they got rank and they cleared. I have one of my close friends in police service. He was working in the insurance sector. So insurance sector is somewhat hectic sector. So he was working there. He did not even give up on his job. He just used to take 5 days of leave or 10 days of leave before the examination. That was his. That is the leave that he used to take. Other than that, daily some 3-4 hours he used to, wherever he finds some time, he used to keep preparing something in the mobile. No, some newspaper he used to read from the mobile, some current affairs or something he used to keep doing. But proper preparation will be only 3-4 hours per day. But still he cleared and he is into Indian police service. So it is relative. It depends from person to person. The main thing is you should be able to complete, say, at least 70-80% of the syllabus. How much ever time it takes for you to do that, you should be able to do that time.
Yeah, thank you. And also, can you talk about the split of this hours just quickly? Like, how do you focus? Like 8 hours looks like a long time. What do you do during this 8 hours? Just for a layman, can you just explain what you go through? I know newspapers. Apart from that, what do you do? Like, how many hours should anyone read the newspaper? Because I read only for 10 minutes.
No, it depends. The thing is, it depends from person. That too depends from person to person. When you start reading the newspaper, say, if I'm first time I'm taking the newspaper today, I will spend at least 2 to 3 hours. But then what happens with newspaper is that you get to understand about how to read the newspaper. Say, for example, first day when I'm reading about this ongoing Russian-Ukraine conflict, I will be reading a lot about it. But second day, third day, fourth day, I will already know what will be in the news. It's just going to be a repetition. So it is like, when you start with newspaper will take a lot of time. So it will take 2 hours or 1.5 hours to 2 hours. It will take per day. But then once you proceed, you can maximum complete your newspaper in 1 hour. That is the time maximum. Like as time progresses, that is the time you will spend on newspapers. Then you have these general subjects also, like what we call as general studies. Because syllabus includes a broad range of subjects like history, geography, political science, economics, environment, international relations, some ethics is there, governance, like what all, like Indian culture, world history, so much is there. So you have to read everything. Only thing is that my suggestion would be, don't focus on only one subject for the whole day. Say if you were reading for 6 hours, do newspaper for 1 hour and do 4 different subjects or 3 different subjects, so that you will not get mentally drained by one subject.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you, Giri. We have taken most of the questions, and next we have an interesting question from Nirmal Kumar. Actually, he is the only non-dentist to be here. He's very, very keen on attending, and I know him personally, so he's been giving attempts for IAS. Nirmal, can you keep your question very brief? Giri would be happy to answer that.
Actually, if I remember right,
Yeah, I had
Nirmal was
connected.
in Odisha with you.
Yeah, he was in Odisha with me. I have connected him.
Also.
Yeah. Nirmal, you want to go ahead with your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. How to prepare subjects? Why I ask this question? Because when I see papers in exam, actually very hard. Then somehow I managed to manage myself with that. But then
Yeah, Nirmal, there is a lot of background noise, but yeah, I think the question is what is from the chat box only. Yeah. So he becomes very nervous when he goes to the exam, and he forgets the keywords and all those things. So can you help him? And Nirmal is one of the representatives, as to say, of thousands of aspirations across the country. Where I know he's been preparing for the past 4-5 years without giving up. So it's a great encouragement to see such people. Can you answer his question?
Yeah, so like what Nirmal has asked, all of us go through this. Feeling uncomfortable in the examination, or feeling tensed or stressed out in the examination is very, very common. And like, if I have to say specifically, if he's asked about preliminary examination, if I have to just for the sake of saying, if I have to say, usually what in syllabus you have various subjects. In that, usually the Indian culture part is very difficult. Because it's very ancient part. It's very specific details you need to remember, and it's very factual. There is no concept, nothing. It's very factual part. So this is the most difficult part of the examination, most difficult part of the syllabus. And the practice of UPSC is that once you open the question paper in the preliminary examination or in the mains examination, always the first 3-4 questions will be from this culture only. So what I understand is that they also want to put you into that mental, they definitely want to put you in a stress position. They want to stress you out, ask you some tough questions, and then like how you proceed further. That's what they're trying to check. But if for to Nirmal specifically, if I have to say about the examination, one thing for you to not get for you to get accustomed to this examination is that you start giving more mock test. If you are say some of us might read very well, we may know the content also, but when we go for presenting it, we tend to do some mistakes in presentation, or we tend to forget those key facts, like what you're saying is like key words are missing out. So if you have to identify these words, it will only come with practice. Say for example, you know all of us have some limitations. Say somebody has a fear of public speaking. How do you come out of that fear? Only by speaking. The same way, when you have this fear of examination, that is fear of taking some preliminary examination or mains examination, you have to do that repeatedly. So you take multiple mock examinations. You itself, set yourself like 2 hours time. You set that I have to complete this examination. Another thing that I would suggest is that when you do not know the answers, please do not panic. Never panic in the examination. It is very easy to say like, no, don't panic, be calm. I know it is very difficult, but the thing is, some people give you like wrong wrong opinions about the examination. That some people say 100 questions are there in the preliminary exam. Go attend all 100 questions, only then you will clear the examination. That's some common idea, like even my mother used to say that. So my personal thing, what it used to be is that I never attended more than 70 questions. Out of 100, I will attend only 70 questions, maximum, all 3 attempts. So my current attempt was I had attended 71 questions, 63 was right and 8 was wrong. So it has always been this ratio, like 60 right, 9 wrong, sometime like 59 right and 11 wrong or something. It has always been in this ratio. But if you will ask somebody like how many questions should you answer, nobody will suggest you that you can answer 70 questions and come out. Everybody will tell you like attend more. My mother, so when I used to call her after the examination and update her that my exam is over, first question she will ask is, how many questions have you answered? I will tell her say 70 questions, 60, some number I will say. Her immediate thing will be like, why did you attend only that many? You could have attended all 100, at least 90 you could have attended. No, that will be her first immediate response. So these are all some misconceptions which outsiders give to us, because they are not exposed to the exam. See, I won't blame my mother for asking me to attend all 100 questions. The thing is, she's not been exposed to that exam pattern. So her expectation is, why don't you write something and come back? Say, but that's not the way. So you give more mock test. Then you analyze yourself where you're going wrong. Say, for example, when you say I'm missing out on the keywords, you then try to focus on those, like try to identify those keywords in every question. And then third thing is, there is no specific like lower limit on these are the minimum questions you have to attend. Then what I would say is like, it's all regular only. It is all it comes with practice. So practice more, you will definitely be able to clear the exam.
Yeah, thank you, Giri, for that detailed reply. I'm sure Nirmal will appreciate. One other question on my personal chat box was, what is the maximum, Dr. Nisar has asked, what is the maximum age limit for writing UPSC? Is there any maximum age limit?
Yeah, there is age limit. It is currently 32 years. So it depends on, we have like various categories. Like for the general category and for the other backward classes, it is 32 years. And for the scheduled caste and for the scheduled tribe, it is 35 years. And then you have some physically challenged, physically challenged people also. So then you have a different age group. I think it's around 40 years. I'm not sure, but there is some relaxation is there.
Yeah.
That way you have different age group, but the minimum, but at least till 32, everybody can do the examination.
Yeah, Dr. Sucheta says, can we have the speaker's email address or contact number? Yeah, if you want to post. I'm not sure if you are open to share that, but Giri, if you can take it.
No, I will share my email ID.
Yes, please.
I will share the chat only and share my email ID.
Yes. So yeah, what we are going to do now is we are beyond our time. I know that, I'm aware, but we have a few participants, and if you have any other questions that you want to ask, you can feel free to unmute and ask. We'll have the next couple of minutes for that. I have a rapid round of questions which I want to ask to Giri. It will be a rapid fire, it will be very quick, just 10 minutes, just to go through some of the common questions I had. That would be the last part of this session. So anyone has any questions, you're open to post in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask.
Actually, I put my mail ID wrongly to one specific person. I didn't notice that.
Okay, no problem.
I just put it in the public.
Yeah. And did you get any personal questions on your chat box? You may want to answer it. You can ask.
I don't think.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. So as people think about, I'm just opening my round of questions. Yes, we've got the email ID. So if anyone wants to ask your questions, you can ask to Dr. Giri. Yeah. So yeah, this is my first question, Giri. So I think you've answered most of it, but we can keep it very fast and brief. Everyone has some time constraints. So what kept you motivating? Like 6 years is a long time. I tried giving NEET exams, and after a couple of attempts only, I get very tired. I get why should I give and all these things. So what kept you going? What keeps you motivated? Is it that end goal, or is it some sort of passion, or what? Did you not feel like giving up? You already answered that partly, but what kept you going? How do you keep yourself motivated? That's the question.
No, the thing is actually, no, if you see for any examination, not just for this examination, for any competitive examination, you have to, there is no guarantee that you will clear in the first attempt, or I've studied for 6 hours, 8 hours, I have to clear this time. It is always like you are open for failures. So only thing is, do not mind that. Don't take it to the failed also. Don't take it personal. For me also, I'm saying, it's not taking it personal that, I failed to film. It's okay. You will fail. Just keep going. Have that perseverance alone. Like other thing, what I would say is that also you need to have that proper mental framework also. For example, if you ask about giving up, before this 2019 mains examination, I cleared the prelims, and before mains examination, I felt very down. So I told to my parents, that I'll not give this mains examination. Next year, I'll study properly and I'll give. I don't feel like giving this mains examination. So my mother, she told me, like, have you gone mad or what? Like, you cleared prelims examination. Why will you not give your mains examination? And what is the guarantee that you will clear next year? So just go and give it, then you leave it. Rest is up to, the other factors. So you put in your maximum effort, keep doing it again and again. They don't take it personal. Keep repeating what you feel is right. Definitely you will get the results.
Yeah, on a personal level, do you read a lot of motivational quotes, or how does it happen? What keeps you motivated? I know family is a very important factor. Apart from that, anything else?
Like family plays a very important role. Other thing, what I would say is that, like, as you had asked about this, keeping ourselves motivated, I used to watch videos of people who already cleared. Their interviews, like what they have gone through. Then you tend to understand, like, it is not only me. Somebody has, undergone a more tougher struggle than me. It is not about whatever I'm going through is very normal. People who have gone through even more tough times than me. So then it becomes like, okay, then I can again give the examination.
Thank you. Again, this is a very common question asked everywhere. So we see some people and we take them. So I want to become like this person, or I want to emulate this person. Do you have anyone like that? Do you have any field? It can be sports or entertainment or anything. Do you have someone like that? Say, I want to be like this person whom you have always thought from your childhood.
So actually, that way I don't have I want to be like this person. I have not had that way. Like, I want to become like this person. But definitely I've been inspired. Like, I'm not trying to emulate people. Because that is, if you have to emulate great people, that itself is a big task. It's not very easy to do. But I do have inspirations. So an inspiration also, it's not like single person. So you may like one trait of one person, another trait of another person. So for example, you take the example of former president of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So definitely he's an inspiration for all of us. He's a very competitive person. he's whatever field he is in, he's always pursued to be a competent person. He wanted to excel in that field, and still, despite of being the president of India, he was so humble. So these are some qualities that you will want to take from our former president. Then you have you have like such people. So you have former Indian captain also, Dhoni. You have, you try to be calm, composed like him. That is one trait you will want to look. So it's like there is no single person from whom you get inspired. Right? Traits in each and every individual. But emulating people is very, what to say, emulating them is very difficult. We may try to do that, but I don't know how far we'll be successful.
Yeah, thank you for giving a practical answer, because someone will already, someone say I want to be this person, but thank you for giving a practical answer. Again, this is a cliche question. See, but people always say like some they have some philosophies. They say hard work works. If you see in a dental college, everyone would give you some such ideas which you can probably write in your notebook or put on your wall or something. Do you have something like that? Do you have a life philosophy? Do you have a life mantra or something like that? Which I know it's very cliche, but do you have any questions like that? Have any
No, that
mantras like
also.
that?
No, that also I would be like, there is no specific life philosophy. I don't know. We are not that, we've not given that much of thought to develop some philosophy ourselves for life. But thing is, like it, say by philosophy, if I have to understand like what you want to pursue, that also depends from person to person, from age also. Like say, when you are very young, you have something else in mind. When you are into college, you have something. Say, for example, when you were in college in BDS, all of us have this thing. If say, for example, even me, I wanted to get into MDS. Endodontics only. That was like what I had next for me, that I thought I should get into this field. But then you meet some people, somebody tells you that this is a good field, you get exposure, then you change direction. So that keeps happening. So that's the same thing for philosophy also. Like, you don't have anything like hard and fast that this philosophy I will follow at all times. Whatever is applicable, more practical. My philosophy, maybe what I will say is be practical. Like whatever is more practical at that given instance, do that.
Yeah,
So
we'll.
my person is that, to say in a positive way, I'm saying don't be too idealistic also. Be practical.
Yeah, we'll take that two words, Giri. Be practical, don't be idealistic. That's a great thought for anything, anyone. And yeah, my fourth question was a lot of dentists, the today's situation of dentistry, I don't need to elaborate to you. There's a lot of, as you say, the other factors which you don't know, you're telling about a lot of other factors which plays into any goal or any career and all that thing. So, but still out of, if I was to use a very harsh word, say mess, out of all this mess, how do you get the still get the best out of it? What should you keep doing? Like, yeah, for dentists, what advice would you give?
No, if you have to ask me specifically about dentistry, like the same applies for all fields also. One thing what I would say is that, say if you are decided that I'm going to continue in dentistry, if you decided I want to come out of something, I want to do some other thing also, be open to it. Be willing to take that risk. But it should be a calculated risk also, not a wild risk also. Take a calculated risk, be willing to do that, be willing to take risk. That's the first thing if you want to come out of that field, if at all. But second thing also, see, dentistry definitely is a good field. Now all fields are becoming very competitive. It's not just dentistry, it may be engineering or IT field or core science, everywhere it's becoming competitive. So in this scenario, like if you will ask me how to maneuver through this period in any field, is that one, you always try to keep yourself updated, always be competitive. Like try to get to know more things. Never feel like that I know things, it is enough for me, I know it all. Never have that attitude, especially in the current times. So in any field, say for example, I would, if I have to tell it for an IAS also, currently government has brought, see, previously IAS was considered as one of the like safe post. You go settle, you enter, and then next thing you have to think about is retirement. Don't think about the in between 35 years. What will happen in these 35 years. But currently government has brought about this policy of compulsory retirement also. People who have completed, I think, around 55 years of age, government can compulsorily force these people to retire, provided that they are inefficient, they've been proved to be inefficient in the service. So this is not just a rule that government has. This rule has been there in in the books for almost 50 years. But this rule has started, this rule is being implemented now. There have been almost 100 officers who've been removed from service, not just from the IAS, from all services. I'm saying, like from the Indian Revenue Service, from the police service, from the administrative service. Only thing where these people have failed is that they have failed to be competitive. when you are given a task, you always need to be competitive. You should equip yourself for the current needs. When you
Yeah.
do that, I think definitely all of us will have spoken whatever field we are in.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Be updated and be competitive. I think those are the two words we will take. This again related question. People want to do so many things. For example, for me, I wanted to start SocioDent. At the other end, I want to do a postgraduate. I want to do so many things, and I'm sure you also had, so like endodontics was something you spoke about. You want IAS, and you want to have a good house. You want to have good family, and so many things you have. But how do you narrow one of the questions that I didn't take some of the questions of one of the questions that came from the participants. How do I earn in lakhs? Or how do I make a lot of money? That's a basic question. So like so many questions and so many goals. How does someone narrow down on something and then keep pursuing it? Like 6 years is not a small time. It's like I think 2000 odd days. So how do you keep pursuing that goal for a long time? And any quick thoughts on that?
No, say for this also, if you ask me like how to specify on your dreams, I think everybody has to start prioritizing. Like all of us will have 10 different goals, but we need to prioritize key, which is the most important one. Say for example, today I may want to do something. Say like I may want to go out with my friends, but my long-term goal would be to study and prepare for the examination clear. So I have to prioritize key that clearing this examination is my primary goal. Having a social life is also a goal, but at this at the cost of socializing should not be at the cost of your long-term goal. So you need to prioritize your goals, and you need to allot time accordingly. Like whichever is your most important goal, you have to allot more time to that goal. That is the first thing. And second thing is that you have to also divide these goals. Say for example, this is what was taught to us in the academy. You will have something as you don't broadly club all goals into the same category. You can pursue multiple goals although at the same time. It's not like you can only pursue one single goal at a time, but divide it. Like say my personal goals, my professional goals, my financial goals. So you have these you have your goals separated. Pursue your personal goals separately. Allocate some time for that. Say 2 hours, 3 hours for your personal life. Then you have your professional life, say 6 hours, 7 hours professional life, and your financial life. But daily read something about your finances, how to manage it, what to do next. So like you subdivide your goals and allocate time for all of them, then you will definitely be able to manage. So because if you, and other thing is that if possible, I have this practice of writing down whatever you say for example, something if I have to do in next 6 months or next 3 years or next 3 months, or like say there is an assignment or there is a submission that I have to do, some dissertation. I always used to write it down in a notepad, or I used to have a what is it, the notepad in the laptop screen you can put. You used to have that so that it will keep you reminded. You will get reminded of that every time. Otherwise, what happens is today I will think, okay, I have to do something by May 31st. But what will happen is I'll forget that. On May 15th, I will get remember that only 15 days is there for the deadline. So then I'll start doing it. So rather than that, always keep reminding yourself of your goals. Definitely, you will be able to achieve even multiple goals at the same time.
Thank you, Giri. Thank you. That was personally useful for me. I'm sure it was. It should be useful for others also. Quickly, can you talk about time management? You already spoke about it, but it's a very difficult thing in today's time. No, social media consumes us a lot of time and lot of other distractions. So for someone, I have a very good intention. I have a very great goal. I want to be a change maker, but my biggest challenge is how do I manage the time I have? I just have 24 hours. It seems very less these days.
No, but actually, while answering these questions, no, sometimes I feel like even I am not also overqualified to answer these questions. Like whatever I am sharing is only my personal experience, because there are many seniors also here in the what to say in the webinar. They may be more experienced also. I'm just sharing my perspective. So about time management, what I have felt is that time management is more about your psychological. It's not more it's not more real actually. Like managing time is difficult. Managing time, I think, is more psychological. Say for example, you want to wake up at 5:30. You can wake up at 5:30, but if you want to, whether you want to press a snooze or whether you want to really switch off the alarm and get up, is up to you. That's psychological. That's not something somebody can tell. It's only you have to do it. So that is about time management. You definitely have a lot of time in a day. Other thing is that, like previously I had pointed out, so when you have your day also, try to divide that day. Say for example, what I do is that I try to wake up at 5:30, but not always I wake up at 5:30. Sometimes it goes to 6:30 also. So you get up at some time, you spend some 1 hour or 2 hours for your some physical activity. Say you go for a walking, go for a jogging, a gym or whatever. Do that for 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Come back, you have then you will have like proper time for your food. Your daily schedule is there. Then other than that, what you try to do is that try to read something at least daily for an hour or for at least 1 hour to 2 hours. It need not be anything like book written by Bill Gates or book written by Obama. It can even be newspaper, but always keep reading something or the other. Why I say reading is that when you read more, like you tend to think more also. You tend to say when you read an article, it's not just a reproduction of that event. When you read an article in the newspaper, it's not just a reproduction of what happened on that day. You're actually the author is putting his mind in that article. You're interacting with the mind of the author. So like then you also tend to think whether he's written right or wrong, like what are the other ways also to put it. So keep reading also, spend some time for reading. Definitely that will be helpful.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. One of my uncles once told, readers are leaders. So that stuck in my mind actually. When he, but still I struggle with reading. That's another story for another day. But yeah, great thoughts on how to read. And I think already you spoke about this. Just a quick thought, socializing, and I can even pass on this question. But if you have any thoughts, like what other sacrifices? I remember you had to even miss one of our college tours. Which is considered the most what to say, very precious thing for any college student. You even missed that in your first year of preparation. That is one thing I remember. But what other things had to sacrifice on the way?
Yeah, so that's what actually, like what I had told you, you will have to make some, say you cannot call it a sacrifice also. So because it's not like what to say, everybody makes sacrifice. Say for example, if you are sitting and talking here with me for 1.5 hours, no, obviously you're sacrificing on doing something else. So it's like you prioritize, like you always have limited time to do a lot of things. It's about how you prioritize which one to do now. So the same way, like how do you balance between life and between work, no, between socializing and study goals, is that you have to manage, you have to allocate time for both of these, and you have to prioritize. What I've seen is that my seniors in service, like very experienced people also, like for example, if I have to quote my director in the academy, so he was a person who had a very strong social life, because sir was also the president of All India IAS Association. So he was very active in the IAS Association activities also. He was the academics director. So academics director itself is a very draining job. Then he was also a great author. You can put his if personally I will suggest you his name also. You can just search about him. He's a very good orator. He's a very good author. He's a very good poet. He's a Hindi poet also. So it's like he's made time for all, and he has a very strong family life also. He used to invite batchmates daily. On a daily basis, he used to invite five. It's a custom in the academy. When you have 180 people, they invite 5 of them every day during Monday to Friday to his house for a high tea. So just to interact with the officer trainees also. So he used to make time for all of this. So it is like, what I used to feel is I'm say 30 years old and I feel very tired to, be active throughout the day. He was almost 58 years. He's retired in March 30. He's 60 years and still he was finding time for all of this. He was very active. So it is only, I think, about how you prioritize your
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not hearing this from the first time from someone like you. People who pursue like large dreams and big things, they always say, I never made a sacrifice. What they mean is, all of this was worth it. I never felt, I don't regret losing something on the way. And this is again something we've already spoken about. So well, lot of people, we want to be a corporate leader, we want to be a clinical head in maybe a college, or be a professor. At the same time, the question was how to earn money. At the same time, you have some dreams also. You want to do some social service to the poor people. Like all of this, if you ask anyone, I think on this webinar, or even around us, no, they would, like, if you ask what is one thing you want to do, they say, I want to serve the poor, I want to serve the needy, I want to do this thing and want to do that. But how do we someone make the right choices? Like already spoken, I think priorities. Any more thoughts?
In this also, if you had to ask me, especially when we come to binary of job position and money, then I would say, see, basic amount of money is definitely necessary. So I will not say that always your social activism is more important, because see, ultimately you need money to buy something for yourself and for your family. To support them, you need some money. So that's the primary need. So make sure that you have some adequate income source for you to have a comfortable life. But don't keep pursuing only that also. So because once you pursue that, once you pursue anything excessively, then obviously you tend to lose out on other things. So you pursue money to some extent up to which it is required. Then other than that, like what you had said, like job position, like the social activities, all that is also necessary, because you get, see, money may give you some amount of material satisfaction, but that intangible satisfaction comes from your other works only. Money, something like it's both are different, both are equally important.
Thank you, Giri. I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. Last couple of questions. I know people have to go. Many people, like, they even take MDS for a reason, or they cannot quit the job and they pursue their thing, or they cannot do two things at the same time, because then both of it will fail. So have you, like you told already about someone, do you have any very inspiring stories of people who like taken lot of odds and then they have reached a great position? Do you have anyone like that?
Yeah, I have a lot of friend. I have my personal friends only whom I have seen. For example, previously I told you one of my friends, he has also, she started her preparation in 2012 until 2019 was when she got into. So it was a 9-year or 8-year preparation. So this 2020 we joined into the service. So it was almost like a 9-year journey for her. That is one friend. And in our academy we had two wonderful people. Uh, Maybe I don't want to specifically name them. They were two very wonderful people. They were visually challenged, but the thing is, they had far more stronger spirit or the stronger enthusiasm, motivation than all of us. We used to get energy from them. And it's not like they did not score well also. Like one of them had a higher rank than me also. One of the persons, he had a higher rank than me. So he is visually challenged. And the other person is a female. She is also visually challenged, but that was not a deterrence for them. Both of them were like very strong in character. Like they decided that this is what I want. So they did not, say for example, I would say, for us to take a book and read itself, we find it very difficult. For them to get that book itself is very, say, in their format, whatever they could read in, to get that format itself is a challenge for them. But they did not feel deterred by that. They were like, still somehow they wanted to reach where they wanted to reach, and they were willing to give it all to go there. That's I don't want to personally name them, but mostly are a very, they are inspiration for all of us in the academy.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Like, I cannot imagine, like, the amount of efforts that person must have put in to reach such a great rank. Last question, talk about some leadership things. I'm sure this thing, not everyone, many people likes to be a follower, many people like to be a follower, right? So they don't want to take leadership roles, because following also is a good thing. Sometimes not everyone wants to lead, but like, how has it been, the transition from being a follower to being a leader? And then how did you groom yourself for that in your early days? And any leadership tips for anyone listening?
So actually, majorly, like you had pointed out, initially even I did not have much of like thing to be a leadership and all. Even we didn't focus much on that. But whatever was important to us was from our training days during the academy. So here in academy, what they used to say is that you entered into some profession now. So it's not like you have an option of whether to be a leader or not. You have to be a leader here, because see what happens in the IAS. What I have specifically seen is that even including in the police service also, people wait for your instructions. They will not be doing, say for example, you would have seen, so to give you a very a strong example also, you see some cases of firing by police personnel. So to fire, nobody will take the gun by himself and fire. He will wait for an instruction from a higher authority. So only when the higher authority, see, higher authority is somebody who has that responsibility. You make decision for others, you have the responsibility. So there is no option. When you are sitting in that chair, you have to be a leader. You have to give instructions to others, and they are waiting for your instructions, so that they don't want to do it by themselves. So here I would say leadership in the, at least in the IAS, is a compulsory leadership. You have to take some leadership. So in that, what I would say is, like, what are the qualities as leader that you should be, is that my most important emphasis would be on teamwork. Never ever consider that I can do individually anything. In my opinion, whatever you can do as a team will far outstrip what you can do as an individual. So always focus on teamwork. And say, for example, you have a team. You want to give feedback to somebody. Don't call that person and give him a negative feedback. Like, don't scold him or reprimand him for some mistake what he's done. Rather than him, give him positive feedback. Suggest him that what you've done. Don't tell him what you've done is wrong. Rather tell him like you could have done it in this way. This will be a little more better. That is, tell it in a diplomatic way. Say, for example, what you can get out of a person by scolding is very less compared to what you can get from that person by motivating him. Tell that you can do this. Why don't you try this way? So that is the first quality I would say. To be a team worker. Second thing I would say is that you be willing to take more risks. Be explore. It's okay if you fail also. Explore, try out your options. Definitely it will work out. So that is there. And third thing I would say, suggest is that listen to people. Whoever comes to you, or it may be general public, or it may be your own person also. Listen to people. Like, don't say when they're coming to you, like, I don't have time. When somebody comes on leave, you've seen this practice. People will say, like, I have 5 minutes for you. Like, whatever you have to tell to me in 5 minutes and go. That's not the way you talk to people. You give them your time. If you have to leave in 5 minutes also, don't tell in the beginning. Listen for 5 minutes and then say, see, I have some work. I'll leave. I'll come back and listen to you. So do that. And lastly is appreciate your people. Like, give credits. Don't take all the credits. Like, for example, if your team does a work, you call everybody, say, tell to this person that this person has done that work. It is his work. You don't take a credit like, I guided my team and I did this. Even though you guided, it was your team who did it. So give credits to them also. So this way, like, all of us know there are multiple leadership qualities. All of us can maybe master in 4 or 5 qualities maximum. But that itself is a big thing.
Thank you, Giri. I am done with my questions. Why I had to ask this question was I've seen the role of an important IAS leader. I was in Odisha, Kalahandi. At that time, it was a very rural place, and people don't know anything. But one thing they knew was the name of their IAS officer. The 1 lakh people, all of them knew. So when I met them, they would say, "Do you know our IAS?" Because I say I'm from Tamil Nadu. The IAS also was from Tamil Nadu. So they immediately connect and ask, "Do you know this IAS officer? She's also from Tamil Nadu." Another thing that I wanted to ask this question was, today the need of the hour is good dental leaders. In our fraternity especially, there are a lot of leaders who have passed before us, but now it's time for few leaders to rise and take up all these traits and go forward. We had a few questions from the audience. It's already answered, like how IAS optional subject, is MDS required? I think MDS is not required. How to earn in lakhs? As a dentist, it's very hard profession to survive. That's the last thing. Any thoughts for such people who are going through such a hard time? Giri, this is the last thing I would ask you. Because it's a very tough time. I've seen the question. So this was a 1 paragraph question. So I have narrowed it to only 1 line. So there are jobs are limited, things are limited. It's a very hard time, pandemic and all these things. Any thoughts for them?
No, that is what actually, to answer that question, I would say that you have to be competitive. Whatever field you are in, all fields are going through a very tough phase because of, like, as you say, COVID pandemic. It has definitely put all fields under stress. So everybody is going through a tough phase only. Definitely, my only suggestion is that don't lose hope. You have that thing. You always think it. Definitely, I'll come out of this phase. It's only see, nobody has had a always an up phase or always a down phase. It's always like up and down only. So if it is your down phase, you will definitely have your up phase also. It may be 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, or whatever, but you will have your up phase. You wait for it. Another thing is always be competitive. You try to equip yourself maximum. Whatever you want to become, you always ask yourself if you have the qualities to become that person. If your answer to that is no, then keep acquiring those qualities. Definitely, you will reach the place where you want to reach.
Yeah. Thank you, Giri. I think that in a nutshell summarizes our meet for the day. We wanted to meet from 11 to 12, but the time we see now, it's 12:45. We never knew the time that passed, but it was really interactive, and I'm sure many more are going to watch the YouTube recording also. So yeah, thanks to all those who participated. And if you have any quick thoughts, you're open to share. This is the time of we are opening up the session. And thanks a lot, Giri. I appreciate your time. Thank you. It was very inspiring, and we learned ranging from dentistry to time management to leadership, and we have covered a lot of subjects. And I hope people who see this appreciate it. Thank you, Giri. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Stuart, and thanks to all the participants, for having taken out this time and for having attended this webinar. Thank you very much.
Yeah.